So do you know the difference between this and this? Well, I'm going to tell you. So if you're a hunter or a trapper and you're new to an area, or if you're new to hunting and trapping and you're trying to figure out where you're going to set up to hunt or where you're going to set a trap. Like for me, for instance, right now, I'm rabbit trapping right here. Some of the best information you can get is from the property owner or what you see yourself. Whether you see in deer there, or whether you see in the rabbits there, the turkeys, whatever it is that you're after. Maybe you've got game cameras out and you're gathering evidence that way. But one of the first things most hunters or trappers are going to do is they're going to get out, they're going to walk around the area and take a look and see what kind of sign they can find. Well, you're looking for all kinds of sign, but when it comes to rabbits, most of the time you're going to be looking for where they've been foraging, which is usually going to be down low, where a rabbit can reach this far off the ground. You'll be looking for their tracks, depending on the terrain, and droppings. That's probably the #1 thing you're going to be looking for is rabbit droppings. And if you're going to set a trap and hope to catch a rabbit, it's just like deer hunting. You need to be over fresh sign. Find the freshest sign that you can, and that's where you want to set your trap. So I've just walked all in and out of this place right here a little bit. Already knew there was sign here. I found sign in here a week or two ago. So, but I haven't caught anything. I put a second trap here. It's been here for 3 or 4 days and I haven't caught anything. Nothing's touched it. And when it comes to rabbits, sometimes they'll go for 2 or 3 days and they just don't move, depending on the weather and everything else. So you have to consider that too. So I just changed my bait out every 3 or 4 days, and you know, it paid off on the first trap. First 2 videos, you can see that I caught 1 rabbit, and I caught that rabbit like the 3rd day the trap was set. And then the second rabbit I caught 3 or 4 days later. So that setup, I put that there because my friend, who's also the landowner here, told me he was seeing rabbits right there, which is, from where I'm standing right now, is probably 200 feet from here, through some really thick young pines right here. And there's a ditch running along here, along a small power line that goes down to their house. And these are just the kind of areas that rabbits like to hang out. There's a lot of brush and everything down low. So you scout the area and you look at the ground really careful, and you're looking for droppings. Okay, so the first ones that I showed you, these are fresh deer droppings. Deer droppings, these, you know, these are fresh because they're shiny, they're moist inside. This is good fresh sign right here. But you can tell that these are deer droppings because they have their irregular shape, and a lot of times they'll be clumped together. A lot of people believe that when they find deer droppings that are fresh like that and they're all clumped together in a clump, that's a buck. But I don't believe you can put a lot of stock in that. But these are deer droppings. Like I say, they're irregular in shape. You know they're fresh because they're bright and shiny. They're still moist and soft. So these are deer droppings. Well, right here, 2 feet away from these droppings. All right, so there's the deer droppings right here. Well, look, 2 feet away, right there, there's more droppings. There's actually, these droppings are rabbit droppings, and they're actually dropped right on top of another pile of deer droppings right here. Okay, so now you can see, these are fresh rabbit droppings right here. They're usually very consistent in their shape. This is atypical of a rabbit dropping right here. They're kind of flat, and they're almost always a fairly consistent round shape. So generally you'll find there may be 10 of them, there may be 50 of them right there in one pile. But when you find them like this right here, and they're still greenish in color and moist and soft, it's just like the deer droppings. You know this is fresh sign. They don't have much odor to them. Neither one does, the deer or the rabbit. They don't have much odor to them at all. Alright, so here you see both. This is the rabbit sign. This is the rabbit sign. This is the deer droppings. Rabbit droppings and deer droppings. They're similar, but they're not the same. You see how the deer is all different sizes and shapes, and it's usually larger. And there's a lot of it here. I'm right here where I'm standing. There's probably a dozen different little piles of droppings, mostly deer. And the reason for that is that I'm standing right here. This is a bedding area right here that I'm real close to. And so those deer bed, and one of the first things that they do when they get up and begin to move around is what the deer will do is, one of the first things when they come out of their bedding area, one of the first things the deer are going to do is they're going to drop a few. And I think rabbits are the same way. So a lot of times when you find the rabbit sign, he's probably not too far off. Alright, so I've got my trap set 30 feet right over here. And it's been there for 3 or 4 days. I haven't caught anything. But when I came down here and set it 3 or 4 days ago, I did not see any fresh sign. There was sign, but it was 2 or 3 days old. So let me see if I can find some rabbit droppings so I can show you the difference between fresh and not so fresh. Alright, so this is fresh rabbit droppings right here. So you can see they're still dark and moist. And these are probably, okay, I'm gonna get rid of these. This is the fresh stuff. This, you see how it's turned brown? It's drier. This is, see there, it's almost like powder. This is newer than that last one. Probably 1 day. So you see there's almost no moisture in there. So that's a day or 2 or 3 days old probably. So this little area where I am right now, I've got a rabbit using it. So here you see some on the ground, which is probably 2 or 3 days old. It's kind of dried out. That hasn't been touched. That's right where I found it. And here. So the point is, look around, look for droppings, and look for fresh droppings. That's most important. It's just like deer hunting. You don't want to go in the woods and set up a stand over a place where you see deer tracks that are so old you can barely tell for sure what they are. That's not the place to be. You want to always make sure that you're trying to hunt or trap over fresh sign. You'll be a lot more successful that way. So I know there's rabbits here. There's probably several, because there's rabbit sign everywhere. Every few feet that I go, I can find droppings that are anywhere from a week or 2 old. They're almost disintegrated, to brand new, fresh, green, and wet. So I'm gonna leave the trap right where it's at. I'm not even gonna move it for tonight. And then if it doesn't do anything tonight, it's supposed to rain and everything. I'm not really expecting it to catch anything. So I think that's supposed to clear out in the morning. And then tomorrow night will be a clear night, so that's a good night to catch. So I'll probably just leave both of them right where they are for today. And then if I haven't caught anything by Sunday morning, today's Friday, if I haven't caught anything by Sunday morning, then more than likely what I'll do is I'll change the setup. I'll bring that trap. It's only over here about 100 feet away from you, this trap. I'll bring it over here into this spot because this is where I've got the most fresh sign that I've seen, right here. There's a rabbit coming out in here every night, more than likely. So I'll move it to right here. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and dump the apple out of this one and the other one, and discard that and cut new apples for each one of them. Rub a little apple around on a couple of bushes of trees right there close to the traps, and freshen up the set, and maybe we'll get another rabbit. Alright, so there you go. If you're new to rabbit trapping, trying to get started, hopefully that helps you to know a little bit more about what to look for. Look for good cover for the rabbits, look for rabbit sign, and one of the best ways is if you or someone else has been seeing rabbits there. You can ride a place at night with a flashlight or a spotlight and shine around. Usually, once it's been dark for a couple of hours, rabbits are probably out moving around if there are any there. So you can do that also, you know. Ride around, try to look for them, see if you see any. And where you see them, that's where you're gonna catch them. So I hope that, hopefully this helps you. Hopefully we'll have a rabbit here in the next day or two, here or over at the other set. So let's hope so. And we'll, I got to the end of February, so I'm definitely gonna stay after them and hopefully catch at least a couple more. So get out there, see what you can catch. Those rabbits are tasty. And there you go.